Another July has reached us now. It seems like, we're already in our third draft, in our third All-Star break, in our third go around at this and trying to make the team better. And unfortunately, we still have yet to break any ground. And we are again in a selling mode, and we are again, in my mind, letting the people of Colorado down, and it sucks. However, we are going to make the best of this, and we are going to improve the team going forward. Those are the standings that you're seeing. These are the guys we have on our trading block. No surprise, the guys we basically signed, the Stromans, the Grishams, the Goldschmidts, have not made us better. Matt Moore on a second deal. Sean Bouchard, another guy who we just don't see getting a chance. And Caleb Thielbar, who we are looking to flip after a pretty good first half of his season. So, again, I feel like a broken record, and this sucks, but that's what it's going to be. Yankees called my line. Usually I would hang up, but they are going to offer us a trade. It's going to be Agustin Ramirez, a depth catcher, a guy that we think as a player, he's going to be depth mostly. And this is an old pitcher who is starting to come back to earth after a very good start. Ramirez gives us good defense and can be decent against lefties. They obviously don't need the catching in Austin. They have Austin Wells and Evan Russo, the 18-year-old, who's already in the major leagues and already looking like the rookie of the year, and a insane talent the Yankees got. Someone we were looking at last year, and Russo started the year in the majors as an incredible talent at just 18 years old behind the dish. So we're going to make this move. We're going to get some catching depth. Again, we really haven't added any, other than Velasquez, any catching depth other than truly just depth. And this guy might be able to make the team maybe one day. Moves ahead to the futures game where Bud Leonard and Sterling Thompson are going to get underway. And they're going to represent the Colorado Rockies. Leonard getting the first 2 innings here for the National League, and Sterling Thompson starting at third base. So Leonard has been awesome in his first go-around. Again, we had a thing where maybe he does make the major leagues, but we're going to roll him along. Again, we're in no place to compete right now. I'd love to just get him his full year. I think for pitchers, that's what I'd love to do. As Tommy Domine, a guy who we were considering using with the pick when we selected Leonard. That grounds out there. He's definitely a guy that potentially we were thinking maybe he could come and play on our team, play in the Rockies, play in the major leagues this year. I think he has the talent too, but we're just going to let him go, and we're just going to let him develop in the minor leagues. I love giving our pitchers just a full year in the minors, really to work on their stuff. I think our pitching gauntlet we have for them in the minor leagues, all the coaching staff and all the different philosophies and different access to everything. I think our pitching lab is great down there, so we're just going to let them roll. Sterling Thompson, he's a guy who's knocking on the door for an opportunity, a guy who probably will get an opportunity for us sometime soon. If it's not the end of this month, it might be for September call-ups or something. He gets a single. We got a pretty awkward play on the base pass there, and Thompson showing off the leather as well. Goes to second base, and the number 1 prospect in baseball, Michael Chen, can't turn it over to Louis Harrington, another guy that we were thinking about selecting with our first-round pick last year. Pop in left field by Robert Harnett, another guy that we had on our board last year. So clearly we have an eye for talent. All our guys on our board are in this game, and that will do it for Bud Leonard. Sterling Thompson is going to go blooping over the head of the shortstop for the American League, and we pick up in the 5th inning where he's going to smoke one to second base and be a fielder's choice to get the lead runner there. So Thompson, a couple hits on his day against Palmeiro here. He's going to strike out on a check swing. They'll appeal and he'll be out, but a good showing for our guys. We're here at the draft now, and unfortunately no draft special, no draft preview, or no draft live. Unfortunately, Netflix isn't following us around anymore, so we'll still see me, we'll still have those live bits, but unfortunately no one there for the draft. Marco Garcia, the number 1 prospect in baseball, and Ramses Feldman, the number 2 prospect in baseball. If they fall to us, that would be fantastic. However, we're in number 7, and the guy that we're looking at is Willie Carrasco, a third baseman. I really love his bat, as we're just going to show you all the guys that we are considering. And here's Carrasco right now. Love his bat, especially power-wise. He can field like no other. I think he is going to be someone that we're looking heavy at. It would take some luck to get him down to us. I think it just said he was like the 6th pick or the 5th projected guy. So if the order goes the way everyone's saying it would go, he would come down to us. Brady McCann, someone we really like. Clyde Cowan, another guy we really like. Greg Drummond, a guy that we could potentially be looking with. But overall, I think we have good pitching down the board, so we might not go pitcher for the first time this in whatever draft we've seen. We did some heavy scouting on catchers, Alberto Garcia being one of them, good power hitting catcher. But as you can see, a lot of pitchers that we have ranked higher than I think the rest of the consensus does. And so with those first couple of picks, even if we don't go pitcher number 1, which I think we could still get some good value later on in the draft. Jose Cano, a guy who we think could just be pretty solid at everything. I think overall we project him to be a very good pitcher. Andrew Montanez, a guy that we might be hoping falls to us in our 2nd pick. I think we have back-to-back picks. We have a compensation pick this year and a 2nd-round pick, so they pick pretty close together in the late 30s, early 40s. Montanez, someone that we'd be looking at. William Kim, a guy that we like. However, he is 6th on the MLB prospect board. We have him down near 30 on our board. Richard Lynn, another guy in that 30 range that we could get with a later pick. Kurt Kutch, a guy that we think can go deep into the games and give you quality innings. And this is someone we're looking for with our 2nd and 3rd pick and can touch 98 with the 4-seam fastball. Derek Connolly, another guy that we're looking with our 2nd or 3rd pick. We like him a little bit more than everybody else. We think at bare minimum he can be a very solid player. Freddie Hickman as well. Another guy that we're not too super high on. We don't think the bat's going to play a whole bunch. But fielding-wise, I think he's awesome and does have some power. And again, is a position of need for us at 3rd base. James Grady. We think he'd be really good right now. What is his ceiling is really what is to be determined. And without further ado, we are ready for the MLB draft in 2026 to get underway. Number 1 pick belongs to Milwaukee. It is going to be Richard Hong. He's a starting pitcher and someone that I guess the Brewers did their homework on. No one was really feeling him, us or the rest of the board. That seems like a late 1st-round pick, early 2nd-round pick. Ramses Feldman, the number 1 pick for us, if we were choosing number 1 probably. He's going to go to Chicago with the White Sox, and he's going to go and play center field out there. Troy Wood, another guy that's very surprising. Oakland maybe trying to go under slot value with their guy Troy Wood here. And those are the first 3 picks of the MLB draft. It's Kansas City, New York, the Washington Nationals, and then us at pick 7. Garcia, Cardona, Carrasco at the top of our board. And let's see who goes. Greg Drummond, a guy that we had 8th on our board, 10th overall by MLB Prospectus. He's going to go to Kansas City. Willie Carrasco. So there goes our guy that we really wanted. He is gone 4th on the MLB board, 5th on our board. And the Nationals are going to get Ezra Soto, a guy we weren't looking very heavy into. But the number 1 pick, number 1 prospect, according to MLB, is on the board. We're going to do our homework. We're going to kind of check in with everybody, but it really wasn't a decision. As soon as we saw who went and who was left, it's Marco Garcia. He is going to be a Colorado Rocky. We love what this kid can do out of Kansas State. He is perfect, a lefty. And this, just like Bud Leonard, a guy that was in college, did it well, was one of the top pitchers in the game, falls to us, and we're able to add him and potentially could come out and be productive with us immediately, almost immediately. So we'll love to see the return on investment with Garcia. And all of a sudden, a lot of our pitching depth and pitchers that we've selected high are starting to bubble up and starting to knock on the door of the major league. So we should have an influx of pitchers coming in the next couple of seasons. Clyde Cowan goes, another guy we were looking at, potentially seeing if he could fall in the second round. He won't fall out of the top 10. Salvador Calero, a third baseman, going to the Cincinnati Reds, and obviously they took Sherwood Winchester from us. David Chin, he's going to the Cleveland Guardians at pick number 11, a guy that we weren't too highly looking at, did some arbitrary work on. David Farr, a guy that I just think there were better options to look at, but someone that maybe in the limited scouting we did like, we had tabs on. William Kim falling in terms of where the MLB picked him, but ahead of where we would have selected him if we had the option there. Brady McCain, a guy that we really liked and a guy that we were working out, opted out of the doctor's exam, and probably a reason why he wasn't more in contention for that number 7 pick. He goes 14. Freddie Hickman, a guy that we would have drafted second round, goes top 15 this time to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Theo Bastar, a guy we saw at the very end of our look at our prospects and who we thought we were going to go after, our potential draftees. He is off the board at 16. 17 is Nathan McDonald. Did not do too much work on him. My hometown Boston Red Sox take one of the best names in the draft, but not really great value according to a lot of people. Columbus Kell, center fielder, see if he can be something for the Boston Red Sox. Felix Camacho, another early or late season dropper, 9th coming in. We did not think of the same. Alberto Garcia, again, goes a little bit higher, so Tampa Bay Rays, back-to-back years, take a catcher we liked later in the first round, and Arnett is now top 10 prospect in the game. Maybe they struck gold with Garcia as well. Darrell Gonzalez, another catcher we were looking at. Eli Guzman, a starting pitcher that we had our eye on a little bit, but not too much. He goes 22. Still a decent amount of players on our draft board here is Michael Segura. I wonder if he's as funny as Tom is. Someone that he was dropping heavily when we were looking more into him, so we decided to close the door scouting him. Vladimir Ayala, a guy we didn't put too much stock into, and a lot of these pitchers are going, which is fine, because not only did we had our pitcher, like the pitcher we wanted, we got, and we weren't even looking to draft a starting pitcher. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 others go. So you're looking at 13 starting pitchers. Richard Lynn, a position player that we potentially would have been going after here soon. He's off the board. Billy Chambliss, another. And now we have just all basically starting pitchers left on our board. So another year we're not going to have a high position player that we're confident can be. We can see, we like Gehringer, and like others in our farm system, we can throw a flyer out there, but we're not too 100% sure who's going to be there. In the second round now, Derek Conley is going to be our pick, and the last position player that we had, we knew we had a strike with him here, and I don't mind reaching a little bit here at 32. Andrew Montanez, number 41, and he was a guy that we had at number 20, so that's a great value. We probably would have got him earlier if Connolly wasn't just the last position player. David Howard, a flyer. He had some moves here. Henry Manuel, another flyer. Alfred Marino, a relief pitcher. Usually I don't like doing the relief pitchers. And Adrian Castillo, I believe, rounds us out here. So at the end of the draft, how do I think it will? I think it went really well. I think whenever you get potentially the best player in the class, I think you do a good job regardless. It did take a second to sign some of these guys. We ended up signing everybody. I'm very intrigued by the position players we got, because they actually ended up, I think, being pretty good. We'll see how they do in rookie ball. But Garcia's going to come out, and we'll see how he does in rookie ball, how all these guys adjust. But we can see that Garcia probably is going to be in our plans a lot quicker than people might think. He might be pushing for a rotation spot out of spring training this year, out of this next spring training. He really might, and that is 100% something that we're going to give him the opportunity to do. I don't think we're going to force anything, but if he's able to do it, man, then we're going to roll with it. Like everyone else we got on the board, and a lot of the scouts, after looking at these guys a little bit more, think these are some hidden gems. We're also going to show kind of some players around the league that we had on our boards that ended up here. Clyde Cowan seems like he's going to be a pretty decent player here for the Blue Jays. James Grady might be out of the box really, really good, and that was one thing we saw. Ramsey's Feldman we think is going to be really, really exceptional. But overall, I think the draft was solid, and I think we keep adding these chips. And like I mentioned, and I have said, I think the past couple of drafts, if drafting for need in baseball isn't really a thing. Like, yeah, if there's a good player at a position of need at the top of a draft board, or if it's two really, really good players, but one's a position in need and one's not, maybe you favor that one. I'm not saying drafting for need is never a thing, but you get the best player available 9.5 times out of 10, especially if there's a big gap between that. And we thought that, and we know that Garcia has a big gap, and we're just adding these chips. Again, if they don't work, we can get them for something that does. But anyway, overall, I think this draft is really, really good and could go down as one of the more underrated ones that we have. Home Run Derby, as the All-Star festivities are upon us. We had one All-Star this year, Yanquiel Fernandez was our lone representative. And here's the field: Muncy, Garcia, Devers Lowe, Ohtani Guerrero, Santander, and Olsen. Olsen, Ohtani, Garcia, and Devers move on. Devers and Ohtani, and eventually Shohei. What else can't this guy do? He's out here winning home run derbies like it ain't nothing. This guy is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Very good, very good. Shohei Ohtani, your home run derby champion. Yanquiel Fernandez got one at bat, and it went like that. Strike three, see you later. And that's going to do it for our All-Star festivities. Here's a look at the standings before, and just kind of get your eyes and your brain looking. Who are the contenders? Here's the wild card: Giants, Cardinals, Reds, Braves, all in it. Marlins could be sneaky. They're kind of in a, do we sell? Do we buy? They'll most likely be selling because it's the Marlins. These are the players who are going to be in, trying to buy from us. And also, these are the guys who are going to be selling off some pieces, and something we're going to have to be competing with to sell off our guys. American League looks like this: Rays, Royals, and Angels really are out of it. It's really a 4-team wild card race. But without further ado, as we look on and just kind of look at this standings, let's go into the trades that we made. The first trade that we made is sending Paul Goldschmidt off to the Cleveland Guardians for Khalil Watson. Now, Khalil Watson is a guy that was one of the top prospects in the game, but just hasn't done it. Cleveland needs help at first base, especially against left-handed pitching, and we thought that it's exactly what Paul Goldschmidt can do. He's good at first base, good against left-handed pitching, and they needed that. They're trying to get a deep playoff run going. We're going to get Khalil Watson. I think we haven't really, we know Tovar and we know Amador are going to be very, very solid for us for a long time. So we haven't really been going out of our way to get middle infield depth, but we'd love depth everywhere. And Khalil Watson, has that pedigree, has struggled a bit already on the Guardians, was on the Marlins, hasn't been doing very well in AAA, but we're going to get him. We're going to try to turn him around. And that's what we're going to get for Paul Goldschmidt, which I think is a fair trade for both sides. They don't have to give up too much for an aging veteran, and we flip him, our aging veteran in Goldschmidt, for I think a decent player. Marcus Stroman and Matt Moore are going to Boston, who needs pitching help. They need pitching everywhere. They find themselves at the top of the American League East, collapsed last year. was at the top of the American League Center, but I don't think making the playoffs this year have a chance to do that. And we're getting Ceddanne Rafaela in return, probably the best player we're going to get here in this trade deadline. Duran is the clear center fielder for them. He's been awesome. They've committed to him. Rafaela is just basically getting spot at-bats here and there. Was in Worcester the last couple of years as well, and has struggled for the plate for years. He hasn't quite got his footing right, but he has great defensive versatility, can play the infield, can play the outfield, can play basically anywhere but first base and catcher. And even then, we might give him a first baseman, but we might have him catch. Why not? He can play just about anywhere. They need the pitching help. We have some pitching help. Packaging both of these guys for Rafael really pushes over the edge. Also, we're shedding $10 million in salary on this move as well. Obviously, got to keep that budget low because why the fuck? We own a baseball team, but you can't pay. Anyway, I digress. Gets to Don Rafaela. Hopefully, those wide open spaces in the outfield help him get the bat going, and also he's able to track down any fly balls out there as well. So we like the move. And this one we're kind of okay on a holding there. I think that we were looking, and we weren't really finding the right fits. But we got a call by the Blue Jays on the 31st, and they want Trent Grisham. If you remember in June, Trent Grisham went to Toronto and basically hitting home run after 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 home run. And Toronto's like, I like that guy. That was right field was a position they needed. They needed some outfield help. Springer's not getting any older than last year of his contract, and just the position, the outfielders they had weren't doing the job. Grisham hasn't exactly been fantastic, but we are getting a pretty good player in return, Brandon Barea. He's a good starting pitcher, but Toronto had him jammed. Like, they have good starting pitching all around. So being able to sell a little bit higher to get a position of need going for that spot, they're going all in. This is a trade that we are going to accept, and we're going to take advantage of a team just kind of looking to go all in. As we look at the final look at the roster, we're doing it. Bobby White, Sterling Thompson are coming up. They are going to help the Colorado Rockies. We are going to have two of our top guys come up and help us out, making their major league debuts, and it is going to be sick. It is going to be awesome. It is going to be so fun. Again, as the general manager of the Colorado Rockies, this is my responsibility to make this team good. This is my responsibility to not only win baseball games, but give people hope. I love baseball in my heart. I really do. I grew up a diehard baseball fan. I still am a diehard baseball fan. Even with this newfound responsibilities, I still hold it in my heart how important being a fan is. And I see you, and I acknowledge you, and I know this has been shitty. But giving someone this Bobby White, Sterling Thompson, able to go out there and have something to look forward to, hopefully can help ease the rest of the season as we, again, struggle here in season number 3. So those two are going to be making their debut here in August very shortly. Get those TV schedules, clear out your personal schedule you're going to want to watch as the Rockies are starting to make that turn and be a competitive baseball team.